Thank you for joining me as I read Across the Bay, which was written and illustrated by Carlos Aponte. Across the Bay. Carlitos lived in the town of Catoña, across the bay from the capital. Mango, avocado, and banana trees grew in every yard. These were the pride of the people. Most of the families in Carlitos' town looked the same. His family did not look like the others. Carlitos lived in a colorful house with his mother Carmen, his abuela, and Coco the cat. Fresh azucenas filled every room. These were abuela's favorite flowers. Carlitos loved the town of Catoña, but he did not like the barber shop. Buenos dias, Doña Carmen, said Francisco the barber. Buenos dias, Francisco, said Carlitos' mother. Just a trim for my handsome little man. Carlitos blushed. And if you finish first, said Carmen to her son, I'll be across the street at the beauty salon. Carmen paid the barber, blew her son a kiss, and left the barber shop. Carlitos took a seat and waited his turn, next to the fathers and sons. After his haircut, Carmen returned to drive Carlitos home. The little boy stared out the window at the Capitol. Mommy, where is Papi? Carlitos asked. Do you think he'll ever come home? Carlitos, your father is across the bay, said Carmen. Sometimes things don't work out, but Abuela and I love you very much. Are you happy with us? Carlitos nodded. He was happy, but he always wondered about his father. Why don't we go to the beach tomorrow, said Carmen. Imagine the fun we'll have. At home, Carlitos opened a small wooden box he kept in his dresser. Under a pile of cards and comics, he found an old photo of his father. I'll find you, Papi, the little boy said, tucking the photo in his pocket. Next, he grabbed some money Abuela had slipped under his pillow. He tiptoed quietly out the front door and straight to the ferry terminal. Carlitos bought a ticket and sat by the window. So far, so good, he thought. On the boat ride, the boy heard whoosh and splash as the ferry cut through the waves. The ancient city of Old San Juan grew bigger and bigger. The trip was short, but it felt like a long voyage. When he entered the city, it looked like a maze. On a sunny corner, Carlitos approached a piraguera shaving ice treats. Excuse me, said the boy. Do you know this man? He showed the ice vendor the photo. No, said the vendor, but there is a woman named Cassandra who feeds stray cats by the cathedral. She's lived very long and seen many faces. Perhaps she can help you find him. In a park by the cathedral, cats lounged in the shade. Some napped behind trees. I'm looking for someone, Carlitos told the woman named Cassandra. Do you know this man? Said Cassandra. She looked at the photo. I know more cats than people these days. San Juan might be small, but it's a big place. You might have to travel the whole city. And so he did. In a colorful plaza, old men played dominoes. Carlitos asked one man about his father, then another, but no one knew his papi. On San Sebastian Street, people wore colorful costumes and sang and danced to the rhythm of guitars. ¡Qué bonita bandera! ¡Qué bonito bandera! Es la bandera puertorriqueña! The little boy searched the faces in the crowd, but no one looked like his father. Carlitos searched all over the city. He walked so far, he reached the edge of Old San Juan. The castle El Moro stood at the top of a hill overlooking the bay. The only place left to look is that castle, Carlitos said. Papi must be in there. The little boy sprinted across the great lawn. His spirit felt as high as the kites in the sky. Carlitos arrived at the steps of the castle. Do you know my father? He asked the park ranger. Maybe, said the ranger. What does he look like? The little boy reached for the photo in his pocket. Oh no, said Carlitos. His eyes filled with tears. Somehow, the photo was gone. Clouds darkened the sky. Rain poured down in buckets. Carlitos and the ranger found shelter under an archway. "Why are you crying?" the ranger asked Carlitos. "I lost a photo of my father," said the boy. "Do you remember what he looks like?" asked the ranger. Carlitos said, "Yes." "Then he will live forever in your memory. When sad things happen," the ranger said, "I think of them like dark clouds. No matter the storm, the sun always returns." And just like that, the rain stopped. The sun came out and everything looked shiny and new. Carlitos walked along the water and glanced at the town of Catonia. He wondered what his mama, his abuela, and Coco the cat were doing at that very moment. Now the sun was beginning to set. "Fresh azucenas," a street vendor shouted. The little boy smiled. He handed the vendor some money and bought a fresh bouquet for Abuela. With flowers in hand, Carlitos raced back toward the ferry. His family was calling from across the bay. And Carlitos couldn't wait to see them. Across the bay. This is an amazing story about appreciating what we have and loving the family that we have and knowing that everyone's families looks different. Some people have 2 moms, some people have 2 dads, some people have 1 mom, some people have 1 dad. Some people may live in multi-generational homes, which means they have a mom and a grandmother, and in some cases even a great-grandmother that live with them, or a grandfather in their home, or there are many different family structures, and they are all beautiful and important to embrace. And sometimes we don't need to go looking for love and happiness because it's already there in our wonderful families that we do have with us. And sometimes families can be chosen people. They can be friends, they can be people from school, all different kinds of people can be family. So this was a really important story that reminded us that sometimes you don't have to go across the bay and you don't have to go far searching, and you can just be appreciative of what you have right there in front of you, because family is beautiful and family is important and family is love. Across the bay. Thank you for listening.